In the dimly lit, cyclopean chambers of the Whately farmhouse, a sense of foreboding settled over the rustic landscape like a shroud. The trees, once green and vibrant, now stood as skeletal sentinels, their branches etched against the moon like bony fingers. It was as if nature itself was recoiling in horror from the eldritch rituals that Wilbur Whateley had been conducting in the dead of night. The wind, heavy with the scent of decay and corruption, whispered an otherworldly melody through the empty halls, a haunting serenade that seemed to emanate from the very fabric of the house. As the winter solstice approached, Wilbur's behavior became increasingly erratic, his eyes gleaming with an unholy intensity in the dark. His twisted, misshapen form seemed to be undergoing a grotesque metamorphosis, as if his very body was being reshaped by the dark forces he sought to summon. The villagers, already wary of the Whately clan, avoided the farmhouse altogether, whispering tales of witchcraft and demonic possession in hushed, frightened tones. They spoke of Wilbur's unnatural strength, of the way he could lift massive stones with ease, and of the strange, pungent odor that clung to him like a miasma. And yet, Wilbur's ultimate goal remained shrouded in mystery, a terrible and awe-inspiring secret that only he knew. His was a mind consumed by an insatiable hunger for forbidden knowledge, a hunger that drove him to delve ever deeper into the arcane tomes and ancient grimoires that lined the dusty shelves of his father's library. The words of the mad Arab, Alhazred, seemed to hold a particular fascination for him, and he would often spend hours poring over the yellowed pages of the Necronomicon, his eyes burning with an unnatural fervor as he unraveled the secrets of the cosmos. It was on one fateful, snow-shrouded night that Wilbur's dark ambitions finally reached their climax. The moon hung low in the sky, a silver sickle that cast an eerie glow over the frozen landscape. The wind, now a mournful sigh, seemed to carry the whispers of the damned on its breath, and the trees creaked and groaned like tortured souls as Wilbur, his voice raised in a frenzied incantation, attempted to summon the dreaded Yog-Sothoth from beyond the veil of reality. The words of the incantation, a twisted litany of ancient power, seemed to take on a life of their own, echoing through the chambers like a maddening refrain that shook the very foundations of the house. As the ritual reached its frenzied climax, a blinding flash of light illuminated the darkened room, and a sound like thunder boomed through the night air, shaking the rafters and sending the trees swaying in terror. The walls seemed to shudder and tremble, as if the very fabric of reality was being torn asunder by the eldritch power that Wilbur had unleashed. And in the heart of the maelstrom, Wilbur Whately stood tall, his twisted form aglow with an otherworldly energy as he beheld the horror that he had summoned. But it was not to be. The creature, a twisted, amorphous mass of writhing, pulsing tendrils, was not of this world, and its presence was too great for Wilbur's mortal form to contain. The young man's body began to contort and twist, his limbs elongating like rubber as his skin turned a deep, bloody red. His face, once twisted in a grimace of ecstasy, now contorted in a scream of agony as his very essence was torn asunder by the eldritch power that he had unleashed. And then in an instant it was over. The light vanished, the thunder ceased, and an oppressive silence fell over the farmhouse like a shroud. Wilbur Whately, the monstrous, misshapen creature lay dead on the floor, his body a twisted, inhuman mass of flesh and blood. The air was heavy with the stench of decay and corruption, and the trees, once again, stood silent and still, their branches frozen in a gesture of perpetual horror. As the news of Wilbur's death spread, the villagers, emboldened by the young man's passing, began to whisper of the horrors that he had unleashed upon the world. They spoke of the twisted, cyclopean creatures that now roamed the countryside, their twisted forms a testament to the eldritch power that Wilbur had summoned. They spoke of the strange, glowing symbols that now adorned the walls of the farmhouse, symbols that seemed to pulse with a malevolent energy, and of the unutterable, soul-shattering horror that lurked just beyond the veil of reality, waiting to consume all in its path. In the aftermath of Wilbur's death, the farmhouse, once a symbol of rustic simplicity, stood as a monolith to the horrors that lurked beyond the boundaries of human understanding. The trees, once green and vibrant, now stood as skeletal sentinels, guarding the secrets of the damned, and the wind, heavy with the scent of decay and corruption, whispered an otherworldly melody through the empty halls, a haunting serenade that seemed to emanate from the very fabric of the house. The darkness that had driven Wilbur to summon the dreaded Yog-Sothoth still lingered, a palpable presence that seemed to seep from the very walls themselves, waiting to consume all who dared to enter. As the seasons passed, the legend of Wilbur Whately grew, a cautionary tale of the horrors that awaited those who delved too deep into the mysteries of the cosmos. The villagers, once wary of the Whately clan, now avoided the farmhouse altogether, whispering tales of witchcraft and demonic possession in hushed, frightened tones. And in the dead of night, when the moon hung low in the sky, they would swear they could hear the whispers of the damned, a chilling reminder of the horrors that Wilbur Whateley had unleashed upon the world. The darkness that had driven him to summon the eldritch power still lingered, a malevolent presence that seemed to seep from the very earth itself, waiting to consume all who dared to enter the accursed place. The memory of Wilbur Whateley would live on, a testament to the horrors that lurked beyond the boundaries of human understanding. His twisted, misshapen form would haunt the dreams of those who knew him, a grim reminder of the eldritch power that he had unleashed upon the world. And in the darkness, the whispers of the damned would continue to echo, a haunting serenade that seemed to emanate from the very fabric of the house, a reminder of the horrors that awaited those who dared to delve too deep into the mysteries of the cosmos. The darkness would linger, a palpable presence that seemed to seep from the very walls themselves, waiting to consume all who dared to enter the accursed place.